evening. We're going to open the meeting. Could we please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we need to approve the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda with moving public input before the employee matter.
I'll second.
I'll second
Can't
that.
hear you.
Okay. A motion was just made to put public input in front of the employee matter. So we're going to change that on the agenda. That's what the motion is for right now. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion carried. So we are now moving number 5 before number 4 on your agenda. Okay? Okay, so at this time, and thank you for coming. We have a lot of new council, and I appreciate their support on the council, and we appreciate your support as a community. So I do want to thank you for coming tonight, and I hope you keep coming. At this time, we are going to have public input. We live in the United States of America, where we all have the right to speak, and we all have an opinion. But that being said, we still need to be respectful. So I'm asking tonight, in public input, if you'll please just be respectful. We do have law officers here this evening, and if something does get out of hand, they will ask you to leave. So just so you're aware of that. Since there's so many here tonight, and for different reasons, would you please, if you have public input, just say your name, and then we're asking that you keep your public input to about 3 minutes. So if that's okay with you, we'll go ahead. So does anybody have public input?
I do. Vicki Larson. Just briefly, I have presented the council with a FOIA, Freedom of Information. It's asking for the checks and the sales taxes on stuff that was sold that evidently the city was writing checks to Ms. Fagrave. And I would like to have that documentation, okay? And I question whether our finance office is being a gallerist and she's working for a private individual. I noticed all the artwork is gone. I'm assuming that all the artwork is gone from the community center too. That should be removed too, because this is a city. We don't need to be doing something like that. And I guess that's everything that I had down for the time.
Thank you.
Vicki, can you clarify for me, you asked for checks and what else?
It's on the paper that you've got.
Okay, thank you.
Any more public input?
I do. Brian Johnson, most of you know me. I sat on the council for around a year. Some new faces here. I guess I'm here today because we're in a situation that when I was on the council, it seems like we're in this rotation of we once again are without a mayor. We once again have had a council member leave. We have had issues with the police department. And I guess I'm confused as to how this has been allowed to keep repeating itself. There's an obvious problem. That problem has been presented numerous times. As far as I'm concerned, nothing's ever really come of that. And I'm just wondering, how many times are we going to go through this constant influx of different faces and having to search for new police, having to search for a new mayor, having to search for council members before you know, we dig into this a little bit harder. As someone who, I did enjoy my stint with the council when I left for reasons that I made apparent when I resigned. And I would love to be a part of it again, but due to those stipulations, I have not ever thrown my hat back into that ring. And I like seeing new faces on the council. It's good to have new people come in, get a different set of eyes on things, people from outside of town as well as people that have been here a long time. But I'm kind of flabbergasted that we keep, as a city governing body, we keep finding ourselves in the exact same spot. And I just hope that something is done here tonight, regardless of what it is, that will at least help to get to the bottom of this, so we can keep a dedicated group of people in these positions that are wanting to do good for the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
She'll do it all night. Any more public input?
Hi, Aaron Morrison, I've got some public input. I noticed at the last council meeting, in regards to the police officers' pay increase for the part-time and that, I know on the agenda it was written kind of wonky. You know, and I can understand how everybody kind of got in a roundabout manner for that. But I don't think the council really recognized the fact that, you know, what they do is a good job, and looking around at that situation, I think the council should have looked at them and said, you know, let's sit down and take a closer look at it. I know everything got messed up on the agenda. You know, let's take a closer look at that and get it on the next agenda, and we'll discuss it further on the next agenda more appropriately when it's written correctly. You know, I felt that it was kind of a roundabout through the whole deal where, you know, couldn't figure out whether it was the part-time going up or if it was the officer going up or if it was our sheriff going up. You know, there wasn't really good clarification just on the agenda alone. And, you know, I think they're doing a good job. You know, as Mr. Johnson said, you know, we've gone through many police officers over the years. I don't think we've really had a good, stable police officer since Jim Morey. And that's been years ago. You know, we haven't really kept an officer around, as far as I know, for more than 3 or 4 years. And I think this should be a town where we should be able to keep our officers around a lot longer, rather than, you know, them just leaving and staying here for a couple of years, the council having to go through all the time, hiring, you know, interviewing, and the like. So, you know, I hope that the council, you know, kind of recognizes a little bit closer on that, and maybe look at that agenda before the meeting, where the agenda has, you know, any changes for it. You know, I feel like that's supposed to be there for, if there's any errors in the agenda, that can be addressed there. And I don't know if, you know, how well that's necessarily looked at. Sometimes things get overlooked, and I understand that. But, you know, I don't understand how that could have been written that way to begin with. I believe that's all I got.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other public input?
Howard Clausen. Everybody's avoiding the 900-pound problem of the gorilla that's not here. And that's a shame, because that's why this meeting is here. It's hard to keep police officers around that don't want to have to work for somebody that doesn't have their best interest or the city's interest really in mind or in heart. It's hard to find council people that want to work with somebody who has their own agenda period. Somebody who believes that they're in charge, but they're not. When you're hired for one job and you create another one and you're allowed to keep that nuance going, when you really don't have the authority to do what you're doing, that's a problem. Finance officer is a bookkeeper. If you look back to what that was hired as, I believe it was $38,000 a year. It's now paying $25 an hour. And I believe it was salaried before. Should remain salaried. And the person that has the job should have a background in finance and or accounting. a 4-year degree, maybe a few years experience. It's gonna be hard to find somebody, it really is. But I grew up in a small town of 500 people. Small towns have similar problems no matter where they are. Everybody has their own idea on how things should run, but then there's the right way, the wrong way, and then the way that things are done. And you've kind of experienced the way that things are done, but it's not the way that it should be done. Hasn't been that way for the 6 years that I've lived here. And I'm hoping that tonight will change that. Because you don't have a mayor because there was threats made against the mayor and his family because of that person. That's against the law. You cannot make threats against an elected public official. Was he elected? Absolutely. He filed his paperwork to run for mayor. Nobody filed any paperwork against him. That's the same as getting elected. You don't have to cast a vote when you have no opposition. He was the right guy for the job. Somebody that grew up here, somebody whose heart was in the right place, somebody who really cared about what goes on in this town, be it at the school, police force, what have you. That's what we need. I'm mostly going to suggest to the council that you don't accept Lucas's resignation. You don't have to. That's a fact. There is no requirement in the state of South Dakota by law that when this person resigns, the city council has to accept it. Don't know what happens after if you don't accept it, but it just means that you didn't accept it. That might be a consideration. I actually have had a conversation with Lucas, and he expressed an interest. If the problem is removed, he's more than willing. Yes, ma'am.
3 minutes. Okay, that's 3 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Darla, I have a question.
Yes.
Was the chamber ever approved for our fireworks in September for homecoming?
No, it hasn't, to my knowledge, been discussed, has it?
I have
Since you
put
were here.
in, she's put in requests to,
Yeah,
Can we
fireworks
get
at
on the
homecoming.
next agenda then? to-
Sure.
because we need to get that approved for September.
Remind me though,
For
again.
homecoming thing.
For homecoming?
Yep.
Correct?
29th of September, I think.
Okay, any other public input?
Darla, could I, just to kind of bring my point on, kind of in addition to what Howard had said, just a few seconds. So I did the numbers, and so when I moved back to Alcester back in 2016, so it's been, what, 8 years? We've been through, just to kind of give everybody an idea, because I don't know if everyone here is familiar. So since I moved back, which was in 2016, we've been through 3 mayors, 3 chiefs of police, and I want to say probably 8 council members. And I did sit in on some exit interviews, and the problem was typically made very clear.
Okay.
And I don't understand how, if we expect things to get any better, can allow the problem to persist. And it's hard to watch the town that I grew up in go through these things when it's been pointed out numerous times that this is why this is happening. And when I still have citizens come to me, even though I've been off the council for a long time, I still get emails, I get calls, and I tell them, bring it to the council. I don't have any authority. And I get a lot of, we don't believe that they're gonna do anything. And that's hard for me to accept as someone who lives here and as someone who sat on the council, because the whole purpose of everybody being here and sitting in those seats is to resolve these issues. So I just wanted to kind of put those numbers in everyone's head that in 8 years, we've lost that many people.
Okay, thank you.
I have some input. Dale Terms. I think it's pathetic what you people are doing here tonight. It's unbelievable to me. And how you can blame Pat for everything that happened here. It's amazing to me. People that showed up, I don't know how much support is here, but it's pathetic. Should I get that gala ready downtown so we can hang her from the center square? It's ridiculous. Sit there and blame her for everything. She's not responsible for the cops leaving. Or for Lucas resigning. He's just a big baby is what he is. Pathetic.
Respectful, don't forget respectful.
Anybody else? Any public input?
I have something, I've been upset with our streets. I don't know where the curb and gutter money went to, but I've been paying that for years. And I expect these holes at least to be filled. And I had to invest in $800 worth of
Are you, what was your name? I'm sorry.
Delilah Webster.
Yes, I was going to call you, and I'm sorry, I was out of town, so I did receive your letter, and I can call and talk with you. You can definitely feel free to give your public input, but just so you're aware, I am gonna call you and speak with you.
Okay, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead with your
But I
public
just
input.
was upset because there's not a street you go downtown or anywhere without hitting a hole.
Mindy Selchert, and I guess I wanted to speak on the behalf of Lucas, or, you know, I agree that he takes took his job very seriously. He loves this town, he was doing a great job, and I've worked with Lucas, he's done business for me for 12 years, and he's very good at what he does. He's very, he's faithful. I mean, he's just an all-around good guy. He would help anybody out. So he was such a good thing for this town. And if he doesn't know something or doesn't understand something, he takes the time to learn it. He goes around and talks with the public. Yeah, there's so many good things, and to lose that, I mean, we had such a good thing going with him. There's obviously a problem. There's been a problem with the finance officer for years, and nothing happens. Nobody does anything about it. Why? Why are we losing? Yes, we are losing the police department because of her. We are losing council members. We're losing mayors because nobody can put up with it anymore. So why are we not taking care of the problem? Let's fix the problem so that we can have a better community. Lucas is out there for everybody in the community, not for himself, not for his own pockets, whatever. He is an all-around good guy. And if he doesn't come back as mayor, I don't see anything good coming out of this. So,
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Mindy Selchert.
Thanks, Mindy.
Thank you.
Any other public input? If not, we are going to have a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2 in parentheses 1, personnel.
I'll second it.
We are going into executive session at 7:20, or 7:20. Everyone will have to go in the hallway.
Okay, you need a vote. You need to vote.
Oh, okay. Did we have a motion? Or she made the motion, there was a second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, man. that didn't take long.
No. Yeah.
I don't know why, water, candy.
Okay, at this time, is there any further discussion?
I make a,
Oh, sorry, I'm still learning this job. We are out of executive session at 7:33. At this time, is there any further discussion?
I make a motion to terminate Pat Durans as finance officer of the city of Alcester with a roll call vote.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Or we just go to the vote? Okay, we'll start the roll call vote. Carrie?
I vote to remove Pat.
Kendra?
I vote to remove Pat.
Darla? I vote to remove Pat. Cindy?
I vote to remove Pat.
Julia?
I vote to remove Pat.
So we have 5 ayes, so her job will be terminated. Okay, we are going on to the next agenda item, a freezer for the community center. We have good news for the community center. It's doing well. In fact, it's doing well enough where they don't have freezer space. So they have asked if they could get a new freezer. Their second freezer is an old one from the old golf course, and it's not keeping up. So at this time, Landon I talked with Landon the other day. Last time on our agenda, we looked into some freezers. Landon, correct me if I'm wrong, but we looked into some freezers that were used. We found one, there was none in Canton, and we found one in Sioux City that was $5,000 with no warranty. And we found another one that was $2,300, but it only had a warranty for 30 days, and they still had to fix it. So those weren't real good options. So I did just do some quick, I called Haywarden, because we can't wait. Our point is we need the freezer now, not in September. And when you start ordering from far away, it could be a timely thing. So Haywarden does not do commercial, but I just happened to glance at Home Depot in Sioux Falls, and they have commercial freezers, upright 2-door like they would like. And there's two of them there. One is $27.54 and one is $29.43. Quite a bit less than the ones that we saw the last time.
Way less.
And the one has, well, both of them, 3 years parts and labor warranty, 6-year compressor warranty, and that's on both of them. So I need your thoughts.
Can I put in a suggestion of another place to possibly call and ask? Murph's Appliance in Vermillion.
Verbs?
Murph, M-U-R-P-H.
Okay.
He's a guy that's been there for a long time, and he's kind of expanded his business, but he's been in Vermillion a long, long time, and he works with people, and so it
He'd have commercial, you think?
well, it could be. I mean, he's got a little bit of everything,
Okay.
so, but I just, that's, like I said, it's just something,
Okay.
little consideration, but not that, I mean, what you're looking at sounds pretty good, but,
You said he's out of Vermillion?
yep. And they deliver up here because that's where all my stuff comes from.
Okay.
Darla, are those both like food grade stainless?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. The one we have now in the kitchen is. And then the ones in the storeroom from the other golf course, no, they are not. And their issue right now is the one is small, very frosty, and they can't even take the stuff out Am I saying this right, Landon?
Yep.
2 even defrosted, I know where to go with it. So, they would like another one just like the one they have in the kitchen, so.
So you say the ones at Home Depot, they do have them on hand?
Yes, they have those on hand, correct, Landon? Yeah, within a few days, put it that way. So, I guess we're kind of looking at discussion, a motion to approve of giving those guys to spend up to so much on a freezer, or what would you like to do?
Sorry, hold on a second, I'm just looking at our budget.
Okay,
What's the transportation if they gotta bring it in, if they don't have it in stock? Got any idea?
no, that I
Okay.
don't know yet.
And will they deliver?
Yeah, will they deliver, Landon?
I think so.
Yeah.
Home Depot?
Yeah, Home Depot.
Home Depot normally does deliver items if you order larger items.
And I usually believe with them, it's free delivery if over X
So much
amount.
money.
Yes.
Should have that going.
I don't have the current amount of what they have in their budget right now, because we were looking to put it into January's. I would say that we could possibly approve up to $3,000 for now, but I would want the exact number,
Okay.
if you guys are okay with that. Because we were looking at putting the 6,000 in for next year. But I appreciate looking into cheaper options. So,
But these prices here are without taxes, right? We'd have to have tax.
okay, so
I don't know what that'll do.
Lyndon, did you get these quotes? Or did?
Online, yeah.
Huh?
Outline, yeah.
Do you want to call the place in Vermillion and just see?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that Lowe's would give a city discount? I mean, Lowe's gives a VA discount, so I would almost think they'd give a discount maybe to the
That'd be
city.
another
And I-
one worse.
No, Lowe's doesn't give a VA discount anymore,
Oh.
not on appliances.
When you call Murph's, kinda lean on him about a discount since it's a city. He's a good guy, he really is.
Landon, are you okay if you get those numbers and then I will get the actual budgetary numbers and we can put it on the agenda for the 31st, which is
Does he need to make a motion the 31st?
on Monday? Is that okay, or do you need it before then?
That'll be fine, about a week.
Yes? Okay.
Okay, so at this time, Landon, you just find out for sure that Murph's and Vermillion, Lowe's, ask if they would possibly give a discount. And then
The
we'll make the
numbers
first
with tax.
with tax and delivery. And we will discuss that on Monday night. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
So we'll go on to number 7, executive session if needed.
I don't think it's needed at this time.
So at this time, we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned at 7:40. And thank you, everybody, for coming.